Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre, and today we're going to be painting the simple starry night sky. So let's jump right in and start. Okay, so today we're going to be painting a night starry sky. I saw this picture on my TV that was kind of just passing by. It was like a screensaver of this night sky that had a bunch of stars. And it reminded me of this time I went to this cottage and whatever. It was beautiful. So I was like, you know what, that looks simple enough and I want to paint it. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to be painting in my Etcher Lab Cold Press Watercolor Sketchbook. I have my Winsor Newton Professional Watercolors. I have my Emma Lefebvre Craft to Mo brushes in my oval wash and my size 12 round and my size 6 round water paper towel. And I will also be using my Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white ink. If you don't have this, you can use white gouache or a white gel pen, whatever works. Okay, so let's jump in. I was originally going to tape this down, but it's nighttime and I'm running out of time, to be honest. It's been a crazy week. My son's been sick, so I haven't had time to work, and that's the only time I have. So we're gonna make more of like a fun shape for this little landscape kind of piece thing. And by that I mean I'm gonna take a little bit of indigo, just a light wash to start, and we're just gonna kind of create this background with rough edges, and this is what our landscape is gonna be. And I don't want it to be too big either. You can definitely tape your edges if you're working on a single sheet of paper. That's not in a sketchbook. I would definitely tape it down on all sides just so it doesn't warp. I'm making it smaller than my sketchbook page so I don't have to tape it down, and I also have it clamped at the bottom here to flatten it. Okay, so those are my tips for that. So we're just going to create this like really light wash just so you guys can see what I'm doing and see kind of the shape a bit. Like that. And you want it to have a nice wet background, not where it's dripping. Like if you're to tilt this, you don't want it to pool. Like see how there's a little bit of pool there? A little bit of a pool. I'm going to dry off my brush and just kind of sweep up that extra water. Okay, but you want it nice and wet, so if you were to tilt it, it's hard to see. You can kind of see that sheen, okay? Now I'm going to grab some Cobalt Turquoise Light. I think this is the name of it. I don't know. And I'm going to just kind of drop it in. Okay, so this is the first time I'm painting this painting in this video, and I decided to put this Cobalt Turquoise Light there, and you are going to see soon after that I am just going to paint over it with my indigo. So if you're watching this part, don't follow this part, just watch how I kind of decide to go in a different direction, because it wasn't blending the way I wanted it to and it wasn't looking right. So you'll see here that I just end up going over the whole thing. So if you're following the tutorial, don't do this part. Okay, that's all. That that centerpiece. We might drop it in later. Okay, and the reason why I do wet on wet, because I just feel like it blends better and it moves better when the page is already wet, rather than putting it on a dry surface. Okay, so we're starting like that. So you can still see a little bit of that light cobalt underneath, that light turquoise. I'm going to grab more pigment, and I want it to be darker around the sides and a bit lighter towards where we put that initial turquoise color. So see how it's kind of like, you see these strokes? I'm going to take off that pigment on my brush and then just kind of blend it out, so you're not getting like harsh edges. Now you can even go back in with your turquoise if you like. Like that, if you want. And just kind of let the wet on wet do its thing. You can, I'm going to switch to my size 12 brush. I feel like I might be able to maneuver that a little bit more the way I want to. And we might have to do another layer depending on whether this dries really light or not, because I want it to be fairly dark. Okay, still it looks a bit chunky there. Wash off my brush, dry it, And then I'm just going to blend it out. Okay, you don't have to do this part. I feel like that looks a little weird. I don't know. Let's try something else. This is me in real time trying to figure out what the heck I want to do. Okay, new plan. New plan. It's all the same color. I'm going to grab some Payne's Gray. I'm going to darken up the edges here. Payne's Gray is a little bit darker than my indigo. Okay, and I'm trying not to put it there because I want it to be a little bit lighter there. Okay, now I'm going to try and take some clean water. So I wash off my brush. I don't want too much, so I'm just going to dab it lightly just to dry it, and then pick up a little bit of water in my water jar and just kind of drop it like that. Not too much. If you feel like you might have too much on your brush, just dab it on your paper towel a little bit. You can even, yeah, just tap your brush so you get some of those light water splatters that is going to repel the color and it's going to push it away. So it looks like they're far away stars. And then we're going to do more stars with actual white. We want this to be a really starry sky. And I don't have a lot of water on my brush, so it's creating really small dots. Okay, now we're going to let this dry and we'll come right back. Okay, so now it's dry. It's actually a lot darker than I was expecting, so we don't have to do another layer. Now I am going to add my stars. So I'm just going to take my white ink here. I'm just going to wet it up because it's a little crusty and old. Okay, and I'm just going to, again, same kind of thing. You can even use it like an old toothbrush. We're just creating as many stars as we can, like the night sky. You can even add like a couple bigger ones if you want. Like so. Okay. Now we're going to add in some dark trees, and they're going to come from this side, kind of like we're looking straight up. So they're going to kind of curve a bit like this. I'll show you. Okay, this is super simple landscape kind of piece. We're just keeping it simple and short today. Trying to have fun, but also relaxing. Okay, so now I'm going to use my black, or you can use your Payne's Gray. Now I have white little specks all over my desk and probably all over my face. I'm going to go into my black, maybe mix a little bit with the Payne's Gray. Nice and dark. And I'm going to start with a big tree coming up this way. Branch like that. And it's smaller as it gets to the top. And you're just going to do these dabbing motions of uneven branches. Can you guys see that fruit fly in here? It's driving me absolutely nuts. And we're just doing these uneven little dabs. Nice and dark, okay? No tree. Well, I mean, maybe there's a tree that's like a perfect, like, looking Christmas tree, but that's not what we're going for. We want a bit more realistic. So I'm just using the tip of my brush to tap. There's like these big gaps in it. Okay, and they're kind of staggered. You see there's one this way, down, down, down. But not too perfect either, okay? Like have some in the middle. Have some branches that go out further than others. And I feel like if I had a good reference photo with me right now, I could make this look a bit better or more realistic of the way the tree's moving, but I don't have one right now. We're just making it up as we go along, folks. Having one of those days. Just trying to hold it together, doing the best we can. And the reason why I did the stars first is because I don't want the stars on top of the trees, right? It's behind the trees. You can even do like little flicks of pine needles, whatever works. Okay, let's do another one. It's going to be kind of on an angle. They're going to be kind of pointing in like this. So even the trunk can be a little bit thicker towards the bottom and then thinner towards the top. And just take your time with this part. There's no rushing. Okay, you don't have to wait or be super fast to make sure it doesn't dry too fast. Like the background, we kind of had to move a little quick so you didn't get an uneven drying time. So if you're doing a background, like the way we just did it, you want to keep the same amount of wetness throughout the whole thing, because if it starts to dry in one area, it will dry unevenly and you'll get these blooms. Funny enough, these blooms are what I'm talking about. But these were intentional, where we dropped the water and we wanted them to be there. So actually, if you got a bloom, say in the corner or wherever, and you didn't mean to, it actually might work out with this piece. It could just be like some weird clouds in the sky or something. So it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes with like a sunset or whatever we're trying to do, we might not want that as much. Okay, and then I'm gonna have another one. It's gonna be pointing in again. Kind of want the tops of the trees to be pointing together. Okay, and it just kind of adds a bit of different perspective. It's like we're looking up at the trees. Or at the sky. Whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, I saw this picture on our TV. We have like this Chromecast, whatever, like almost like a screensaver when we're not watching something, of this photo that was like a night sky like this with the trees, kind of like the same perspective of looking up. And I wanted to take a picture of it so I could paint it later. And I don't know, I couldn't because I didn't have my phone and had a baby on my lap. You know how it goes, right? But it really reminded me of this time I went to a friend's cottage, and I want to say it was like camping. People will say it's not, because it was more like camping. It was indoors, but there was like, they were screen doors. More so than a tent almost, right? Or less than a tent. No running water, no running toilets. It was awful. I'm not the biggest outdoorsy person. I love the outdoors. I can appreciate it. But like, as for toileting and stuff like that, I really enjoy the indoors. So, sorry, too much information. Again, this one is pointing towards the other trees. Okay. But yeah, and there was one night where they're like, let's go for a walk to look at the stars. Something you should know about me, just because we're borally painting these trees, which are the same thing. I'm afraid of the dark. Not like if it's dark in my room, but like the pitch black dark, like super scared. Like if I can't see something, it terrifies me. So we decided to go for a walk, and they decided no flashlights. Don't know why. Terrified the crap out of me. Anyway, they're like, it'll be worth it, it'll be worth it. And I was so scared the whole time. Anyway, we finally got to this big field, and the sky looked like this. And if you guys know me, I am from the city, so we don't see lights like this, like stars like this very often. We usually have like the bright lights of the city, and so you don't get a lot of beautiful starry nights. And it was just like incredible. Would I do it again? With flashlights, yes, but I would not like walk in the dark again. That was awful. I'm just trying to do some that are a bit behind too. Maybe I'll make one a little bit taller. Anyway, that really reminded me of this time at this cottage, seeing the stars like that, because I had never in my life seen the stars like that. So I was like, you know what? That picture reminds me of that. I'm going to paint it. And that is what we are doing today. Okay, it's looking a little bit clustered there. I'm going to finish this tree, and then I'm going to just have another one poking out over here, I think. Just like this. Smaller one. Like so. And then I think we will be done. And it's just a simple kind of starry night landscape like that. Maybe a little tiny one right here. Like that. Okay, so there is our like super simple Starry Night kind of landscape piece that you can do when you're bored, you know, just something to practice, or you just need like a quick little painting session to kind of calm you down. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.